recording now. So James, if you want to call the meeting to order, we're ready.
All right, all those in favor of starting? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, first thing, I will mention that Nick Zotto is on this because he is interested in joining the EDA. And as our final business, we'll be asking for some information about Nick that I think Laura is prepared to give us. And with the permission from Jean, whether we can take a vote today to nominate him to the select board. Can we add that to our other business?
James, select board or EDA?
Yeah, we're gonna vote you onto the select board, Nick.
Our nomination goes to
To the select
board.
To make a recommendation. So that would be, James, what you're talking about is whether or not this group would make a recommendation to the select board for Nick's membership.
That's
Yes.
right.
Okay.
And that would be our other business item that we'll come to.
James, would it make sense, just a suggestion, what might it make sense for me to share a little bit of information about Nick now as he'll be joining us for the meeting, just so folks know who he is?
Good point. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, Nick Zotto is, he's been someone he's been in the community for a long time, but our paths have never crossed. He had been working in banking in Nashua, I believe. And now he is a manager at People's United, and he's really a real contributor to community efforts. He is on the board of the Monadnock Early Learning Center. He has joined Rotary. He is also joining the finance committee of the River Center. He's married to a physical therapist here at the hospital. She's occupational? What is it, Nick? Occupational therapist, and they have two young children. So I think Nick is going to be a great addition. He is interested in being involved. Did I get any of that wrong, Nick?
No, you're right on. Thank you.
Great. Welcome. And would it make sense for each of you just to introduce yourselves so that Nick knows who you are and kind of what your tie to EDA is?
Good point. I have done that with Nick, so I'll turn it to Bill.
Bill Kennedy. I am been on the EDA for a couple years now. I'm the chairman of the Greater Downtown Tax Incremental Financing Advisory Committee as such a capacity. I'm on the board of Maxt. I just have a lot of connections, and I'm married to Jean Deach.
Speaking of Jean.
Hi, Nick. How are you? I've been working with the EDA since 2014, I think, and just try to help them get organized and to become an organization that's not going to appear and disappear along with the economic cycle.
Jean, really difficult to hear you.
That's because I'm hosting the audio. And she also needs to move one way or the other so that the light isn't blaring in our faces.
Yeah, thank you.
What I said, Nick, so just turn off your audio for a minute, okay, Bill? What I said was that I've been working with the EDA since 2014 and working to create a more functional and stable organization. It used to go up and down with the economic cycles. When times were good, the EDA would disappear. And then when times were bad, when it was too late, then the people would go, oh no, we better start an EDA. So that's been what I've been trying to accomplish.
Okay, Jerry?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'll turn mine.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Didn't know if I was still on mute. Jerry Gallus here. Excuse me, Nick. Resident for, God, almost 15 years now. I head up a quote unquote, they'll laugh, secret society of the major manufacturers in the area. We hold a series of forums once or twice a year among the big employers, the largest 10 to 20. So I have connections with those people. Like Bill, I am also the chair of the advisory committee for the West Peterborough Tax Incentive Financing Group, and as well as the South Peterborough TIF. That's enough.
Well, Nick, given that everybody else has had a chance and that Laura's given a bit of an introduction, anything else you'd like to say about your headlines of interest in EDA?
Sure. So, I mean, Laura gave me a great introduction. Just to reiterate, I've lived in the area lived in Greenfield for almost 10 years. We lived in Milford before that, but I previously had been working mostly in Amherst and Nashua. But now that I'm working where I'm living, I'm really interested in getting involved, helping the community stay healthy and grow. A big part of what I do here with the bank is business development, but also community outreach. And the bank is really supportive of that, which is why I'm able to join or look to hopefully join organizations like this and be on boards and things. I think it's really important for everybody in the town to make sure that the businesses grow and thrive. And that's what I'd like to help with. So,
Nick, if you're not aware, one of your predecessors, Adam Hamilton, was the chair of EDA for a year and a half or so, about a year ago, I guess. So
I did. I had heard that. Yes. Yep. And I know, Adam was very involved as well. So I'm hoping to do the same thing.
Good.
One other thing that I know Nick from is he's involved in our town networking team that has a Zoom every other week or 2 times a month to actually connect up people who are working to actually support small businesses in town. So that's another place where I know him from. Okay, I can now maybe move on to our agenda, and we'll end up with a question of whether or not we'll approve Nick to be appointed as a new member. Any comments about I'm supposed to approve the agenda. Can we start with that?
Are there any items to add to the agenda?
Any items to add to the agenda? Bill?
No.
I have
Okay.
one simple item, and that is I would like to arrange for the budget committee to look at the end of year budget, that we've got all of our bases covered. I know Karen has been keeping an eye on that, but it would be a good idea for the budget committee to meet and resolve those numbers.
So Bill, is that just something we can do, is plan the budget committee meeting, and does it need to be on the agenda?
It doesn't need to be on the agenda. I'm just
Okay.
requesting that we do that.
We'll just follow up. Okay. Great.
Okay, and again, we'll move on to the minutes. One of the things that I noted regarding the minutes is that we didn't put anything about the budget into our agenda, but we did have work done on the budget. So we do need to hold that committee. I agree with that. But anybody else have anything else we want to add to the agenda?
No.
Okay, let's move to approval of the November 16th minutes.
James, if there is an opportunity at the end, I'd like to just give a quick vaccine update, just as public information.
I said, what update?
A vaccine update.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'd vote for that, yes.
Okay.
I can also tell you about how I schedule my vaccine, so yeah.
Good job, James. That's awesome.
All right, moving on. Markets.
Hang on, we need a motion to approve the minutes from
Oh,
November.
I'm sorry. Do we have a motion to
moved.
approve the minutes?
That was
So
Jerry.
moved.
Second.
Jerry.
All in favor?
Well, let's have a
Aye.
discussion. Is there any modifications to that we know of?
We vote. Any comments?
Any
Update?
comments?
Hearing none.
Okay.
All right, all approved, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
Approved.
Very good.
All right, moving to the marketing and update.
Okay.
Bill,
Unfortunately, Megan isn't with us here, so she can keep me honest, but Karen was also in the meeting. We had a meeting with Drum, I believe it was just last week? Yes, on Thursday. And we made some modifications to the website as it's being developed and reviewed their work in that regard. That was minor. Well, the major discussion was their contract has completed. The last 3-month contract has completed. So we discussed what they're going to be doing over the next 3 to 6 months. And we concluded that we wanted to continue with basically the same current contract, and that is 2 posts on social media per week, and some maintenance of the website included, and then also to include a search engine optimization with ad buys as previously suggested. Karen very well wants the budget to continue from January through June 30th, those 6 months, rather than constantly renewing, because we know we're going to continue to do that. And the committee agreed to that. What we now need is an approval by the board for that 6-month contract with Drum to continue their work. And then Karen would then execute that contract through the town.
What was it was $1,200, right, Bill?
$1,200 plus, I forget, $160.
$150 for,
$150 ad buys.
a total of $1,350 per month through January through June. We have the funds from the warrant article remaining, so we can fund it. And it's just
so that's not a part of the new budget. It's part of our existing year.
Existing year.
Yes, the new budget doesn't start until July.
Okay, so you want to have the board approve that, Bill?
Yes, I move that we approve renewing the contract with Drum for 6 months through June the 30th.
Second.
Any comments? Any questions? All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay,
Approved.
got it.
Anything else, Bill, on the marketing comm?
I will just add, Bill, let me just tag on that one of the things we've been anxiously awaiting is the launch of the new website for the town. And I talked with Ally this morning, and it looks like right at the beginning of February, we should be seeing the launch. So once that happens, then our being able to really look at how the two link up will be something we can do more fully. So that might be a meeting we want to have in February, Bill, with the marketing committee and Drum to take a look at kind of where the links.
Absolutely. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Great.
We've been waiting on that for quite some time.
Yes, patience is a virtue.
There,
Does it have to be half a decade?
Hey,
there's
I've only been here a year. I don't know.
There's also another link that we were talking about doing was somehow connecting our town networking team up to the site in some fashion. Have you worked on that at all, Bill?
I have not.
Karen?
We had attempted to sit down with the Our Town networking group and have that conversation, and it seems to have slipped through the cracks.
Well, we'll just maybe bring that up the next Zoom with Lee and see what he can do next, because Lee needs to lead that.
It seems to me that it's just a simple link on the one of the resource pages, Bill, that we would just link to a connection to Our Town networking.
But the nature of that connection, or what that connection is, or whatever, I don't know. And Lee hasn't hasn't had that conversation. Let's put it that
All
way.
right, so who will follow up? James, will you
I
follow
will,
up?
I will follow up with Lee, but one of the reasons why I think it's been hesitant is that he was working on a website that he was creating. And so he wanted that website to be something that would get connected.
Mhm. Okay. So, but you'll follow up with him and put him in touch with Bill?
Yeah, and Nick, you can remind me if I forget.
I'll make a note.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on
All
to
right.
the repair, the key performance measures.
Yep.
Karen,
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen here if I can do this without screwing up. Let's see.
Never done it before, right, Karen?
Oh, gosh. Haven't done it in a while. So here we go. Okay, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all see the spreadsheet. So this was sent out, the Google link was sent to all members with the notes. This is what we've created. Let me just get it on my bigger screen so I can see it, and hopefully you can see it with the rest of this.
we could see it.
Can you see it?
Well, we did.
Hold on. I'm just trying to get it so it's not behind the pictures of you guys. Hang on. Let me put you over on my big screen. There you go. Now you can see it?
No.
I can see it. Oh, I can see the
What are you seeing the spreadsheet?
No.
No, I see a meals to go sheet.
Hang on. Just a minute. I've got two screens open, so it's just a minute. All right. Let me just make that go away. How about now?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's still meals to
All
go.
right. Oops. All right. Well, let's. Oh, Karen Hatcher, what are you doing?
Hmm.
Hang on. Just a second. Stop the share. Let me start the share again. Okay.
Your screen is all goofed up, Gene.
Okay. How about now?
There it is.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is the spreadsheet that we put together based on our conversations over the last several months about what we would like to track as our key performance indicators. It will require a number of us to weigh in on what we're finding are the indicators. So Jan, and the way we want to use this, and this is a brand new thing for us, is that every quarter we will update the information as best we have it so that we can use it to be able to flag anything that may be problems coming or things we want to put attention to. So it's a beginning of it. And obviously there are a lot more blanks here in the January column than information, but I thought that I'd show you what we have so far, and that would provide us some impetus to get moving and put information in. So the things we know, which you can see easily, are the town tax rate is there. We did have a meeting of the nonprofit sector early in January, and really had some pretty positive news from that group right now, that everybody is feeling like they're doing pretty well, that the community has been very responsive in supporting them. The money that came from the PPP and the nonprofit fund and things like that have really boosted their accounts, and they are managing. So, so our nonprofit sector is feeling pretty good about itself at the moment. Obviously, the arts groups are still struggling a bit with not being able to do in person, but there was some live venue money that came at the end of the year. So that's making a difference for some. We are also then now expecting that out of Washington, we'll see some more relief money. We don't know how that will be allocated, but I was just on a call with Commissioner Caswell. And as I may have mentioned before, the plan there is to keep the programs that have been in place. And if the funding comes in and it's easy to just put that money into those funds, into the programs that already exist, that will be something that the state does. So trustfully, as soon as the money, as soon as we know more, then we can know more. But this is.
I will be for an hour.
At least, right. So this is one area of what we said we wanted to track. We also did create two sheets that are set up with our retail sector and also our restaurant sector. And the idea here was that we would try and, the members of this group would try to tap in and connect with our retail and restaurant sectors to see how they're doing. We obviously need a plan around that. And for, so that's something that's work for us as a group to figure out. And I'm open to any ideas that you may have around that.
Karen, I have a perhaps a silly question regarding the retail sheet. There's
Yes.
ratings from 1 to 5. Which is best, 1 or 5?
Oh, I think 5 is the top, Jerry, as I would do
Okay.
it. Yeah. So, and that's just a check-in, I think, with the restaurants and the retailers. So I can tell you in general terms, really general, that we aren't doing badly, that we haven't lost any of our retailers that I'm aware of, and we haven't lost any of our restaurants that I'm aware of, and that the things that we have done over the course of the last 9 months have worked to sustain. Obviously, the next 6 months are going to be important, maybe critical for some, but PPP was just announced again, another round of that. And we're hoping that there's more relief funds that will come. And then that coupled with what we're doing on the community meals program for our restaurants will also help to boost. But generally speaking, we are starting from a pretty good place, considering what we've been living through. I don't know if you all just saw that the New Hampshire Retail Association named Toadstool one of their retailers of the year. And that's just amazing and wonderful. We know Toadstool is a gem, but now the state knows. So this is our tracker, and our next steps are going to be how do we use it?
Okay. Karen, is the intention then to assign to EDA members these contacts?
I think so, Jerry, and I think that was our conversation that we were for. So
that's what I understand.
Is that what the EDA column is designed to show?
Yeah.
So who from the EDA is going to contact?
Yeah. So this is a shared Google Doc with you all. So we could I could set the this one for the restaurants up the same way with an EDA column. I just didn't do that. I don't know why, but we could if you could put your last name maybe in the EDA box for the ones that you're willing to do. And that could get us started.
Karen, since I'm not online, it's Jerry. I know Peter Robinson quite well. So if you're putting me next to Peter, unless somebody else is preferable.
I will do that.
But unfortunately, I don't know the others on the list.
Okay.
I'm willing to make contacts, but I don't know them. So if somebody wants to connect me.
Okay.
Well, if you recall, we had a program that we initiated more than a year ago now, that as a parallel to what your work with the large businesses, Jerry, I was going around and actually contacting a number of these businesses. So I've already developed a personal relationship with several of these. So I can go through and indicate the ones that I've actually had conversation with in the past to see how they're doing, and so that I can follow up. And they'll be familiar with me and what my work is about.
Great. So Bill, if you want to start and put yourself in to the ones you know you want to do, and then everyone else can kind of take a look and just grab a few, that would be great. James?
I've got two that I'd like you to put me on.
Okay.
Well, Peter Robinson at Roy's.
Well, Jerry just took that. Okay.
Oh, Jerry got that? Okay.
Yeah.
And Bill at Steele's.
Okay. I will do that. All right. And the rest of this we can, if you have trouble putting them into the Google Doc yourself, then just send me a quick note, email about the ones you'd like to do. But Bill, I'd like you to do it first. Maybe you and Jean could do it first. And then the rest can fill in.
Just assume we'll have that done by this afternoon.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Isn't Megan an EDA member?
She is.
She is.
Probably do herself, yeah.
Speak with herself, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So,
Karen,
Jean?
Nick?
oh, Nick
Do you
has-
mind if I just ask a quick question? I was just curious how, where you came up with the list of retail businesses for the area. Was it something you just like looked around town and came up with a list, or did you outreach to local businesses to say, is this something you'd like to be involved in?
This is a starting list, Nick. So it's based on who we know is like kind of right around, and that are these more mom and pop local, maybe more vulnerable businesses that we were kind of starting with. It can be expanded, obviously. So if there are businesses you're thinking of that you think should be checked in with, we can absolutely add to this list. The more robust it is, I think the more information we have, the better.
It is
Okay, I was curious.
I'm sorry, Jean, what did you say?
It's retail businesses.
Right. This is retail.
Understood.
Okay. So if we could just work on this together, and then over the course of the next several weeks, maybe make an effort to get the ratings in and fill them in on the sheet, and then we'll see where we are.
And the rating scale is 1 to 5. Is that
1 to
correct?
5, yeah, and I'll copy it over onto the restaurants as well, and add the EDA member column for
Okay.
you. Okay.
That'll be great.
For
Okay.
clarity, please indicate 5 is best.
5 is best, and I'll state that 5 is best.
Great. I can see myself turning it around, and that's all.
That's fine.
And we can get to this with the link you gave us in the email.
Absolutely.
Okay, but you'll add that additional stuff for those two.
I'll fix
Right.
it as soon as we're done. Okay. Good.
All right, anything else on the tracker?
On the restaurant side, I assume we're going to do the same. And I saw, Bill, that you sent a long list of additions. Again, I'm not seeing what you're seeing, so if they're on there, fine. If you're assigning people, I know, now I've got a senior moment here as to names. Cooper Hill worked with,
Kyle.
I can't think of his name. Kyle, a great deal when trying to develop that, Franklin Pierce relationship.
Yep.
So if we need somebody to contact Kyle, I'll take the role.
Okay, Jerry, I'll put you down for that.
I heard Cooper Hill is going to open soon.
They are. Yep, we think by first week of February-ish.
Yeah.
Just, Karen, jumping back to, are you gonna, there we go. Jumping back to this. Yeah, jumping back to stats, the previous stats. I just want to say that I did look over the school stats. We're particularly interested in the kindergarten. And the kindergarten seems to have grown slightly through 2019, 2020. And the school is not keeping track of enrollment this year, or not publishing enrollment because everything's so strange. But at least it does not appear with the records that are there that we're going down. And we did go up significantly around 2018. So mild growth in 2019 is good.
All right, so you'll add that to the sheet, Jean?
I have a quick question about that same sheet. Under the nonprofit sector, you said 16 groups met in January.
Yeah.
Was Maxed one of those?
Was Roy on the call?
I can't hear.
No, only me.
James was on the call.
Sorry, I didn't hear because we're swapping audio.
All right, James was on the call representing Max, but Roy was not, right, James? I don't
That's
think-
right.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Great.
Okay.
In terms of this list, Karen, that you've got up, we've got people assigned to these. Do we need to remind people that they're assigned, such as Andy, who's not on the call?
Yeah, so why don't I send this out again to everyone and tell them which things they're supposed to do? Like Andy, because we haven't talked to Andy or Danica or, I mean, the rest of us are here, right? Or Pardon. So, okay, yeah, James, I'll send out the link and remind
Yeah.
people. All right, we'll do. Okay. Great.
And again, you'll do that rather than me getting in touch with any of these people.
I'll
right?
take care of it with the minutes. I'll send the notes out and I'll send a reminder for people to look at the link. And
Good. And in terms of that one that lists me and Varden, remind me, is Varden a member of EDA?
no, he's from
No,
the
so it's,
SBDC, right? Varden from.
well, I know Varden, but so it's me that's assigned that,
Yeah.
not Varden.
Checking in with him about, yeah, the SBDC did a survey, right? And somebody remember what that conversation was? About,
I'll check it out with Varden.
all right, James. Okay. All righty, so I think we're good on this now. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
moving on. We got another assignment for Karen on Meals to Go.
Okay, so an update. I sent you the some information, the flyer and the frequently asked questions about Meals to Go, but I'll give you overview, thumbnail, the big picture and the small details. Here's what's happening. A few weeks ago, actually, it wasn't even a long time ago, not even a month ago. Paul Teller contacted me and asked me the question, you know, what can we do to help keep our business, our restaurant businesses in business over the next several months of this winter coming, as well as, you know, how do we help mitigate food insecurity in our community, which he was also concerned about. If you've seen the article in the Ledger transcript, it kind of told you the story about how that all evolved. But basically, I did some homework. I found a group in Brattleboro that was doing a program called Everyone Eats. And what it did was pretty simple. It paid restaurants to cook and prepare and package meals as individual portions that were then distributed to people who needed meals. And so they did it with CARES Act money in the last 5 months of 2020. And they were distributing 1,000 meals per night, 4 nights a week, which is crazy, crazy. But they paid the restaurants $10 per meal. They had a contract with the restaurants. The restaurants figured out the menu and they delivered the meals to a central distribution location. And they did that for 5 months, 4 days a week. So I figured that's a pretty good system. It worked. So I reached out to them, I picked their brains, and then reached out to our nonprofit community, our service clubs, and restaurants, and pulled together a program which we're calling Community Meals to Go. And it's slated to start next Tuesday, February 2nd. It will be 2 nights a week from 5 to 6 p.m. at the South Meadow School upper parking lot. We will be distributing curbside. We have 5 restaurants who will be preparing meals every week. We are distributing between 150 and 175 meals a night. That's our starting point. We have raised $35,000 from the community, which includes a seed gift that we got from Monadnock Rotary. Thank you, James, for that. And that was parlayed into another 5,000 from New Hampshire Charitable Foundation. And then we heard that the 100 plus women who care Monadnock chose us as their project for the quarter. That's another 11,000 plus. Plus, we've had an online giving platform that's generated a big chunk. So we are over 35,000 right now on a $50,000 goal to start us.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. I will also just tell you that on the call before this one, when I was on with the other economic development professionals, I reported what we had pulled together. And Commissioner Caswell said, I think we should be thinking about how to put some funding into developing this into a statewide program. And and so I said, well, yes, because funding, the next funding package that comes, I would love for us to have funding out of that so that we don't have to lean so hard on the community. But I think it's been such a beautiful thing to watch the community respond to this need and this desire to support but both our business community and our families. And so I think we will see funding that will allow this to kind of build and be more impactful as we go. But yay.
That's fantastic.
I don't quite understand what you're talking about in terms of statewide. What?
Oh, I'm not doing it statewide, but there, Caswell was like, and Karen's going to run it for us, right? And I'm like, no, oh no, no.
But at the moment, it's community, not Peterborough. It's community.
Community, and it's first come, first serve. It's no signups. There's no requirement. You don't have to qualify. This is like, if you have been impacted and a meal would make a difference, come get a meal. You know, it's just, we know that people are suffering in ways that we can't quantify. Like, it's just, it's like, we're hearing that people are like, we've got a grandmother who's raising multiple grandchildren and the challenges are immense. And for us to be able to, for her to get a meal that someone else has prepared one night or 2 nights a week, like, it's such a relief. I got an email from her and it was like, she can't thank us enough. It's like, we don't know what the impact has been on our families and our community, but being able to provide a meal, that we can do. And our business, our restaurants. So now we've got Cooper's Hill, who will be starting the 2nd week of the program because they want to just make sure they're good to go. Cooper's, Brady's, Aesop's, Noni's, and Grappelli's.
That list is not in the document that you sent us today. So
it's still evolving. So, but that's the start list for the restaurants right now.
So you're going to update that document to?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Did you approach all the restaurants in town or just?
We approached all the restaurants. We gave them all the opportunity. Some of them said, you know, this just doesn't fit with our economics and our model. $10 a price point, right? They said, we love that you're wanting to help, but that's not exactly what we need. So they said, but make sure the others get it, because you know, Barry at Brady's wanted to participate, but what he said to me was, make sure the others who really need it are on first. that they're set up first to get it because we know others are hurting worse than we are. So I think it was a wonderful, the restaurant community is kind of coming together. They're talking to each other. They're working together to support the whole restaurant community because it's good for all.
Well, I'm just amazed at what you did in just a few days to get this to actually take place.
It was weeks, James, but not.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
10 minutes of her time, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I think the community, it's the community itself. All I did was I reached out to the people I knew in this community, from the nonprofit sector, from the restaurant community, from the service club. I called you, James. You were one of my first calls. I said, how can I get this funded? And so I just asked people for help, and people responded. And I think I've played a role, but the rest of the community responded to this. And if they hadn't, it wouldn't have come together.
And hundreds of women have played a role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura, I hope you're still on.
She just went, her video's off for a moment.
I think she had to step out.
Can she?
I just want to point out a couple of things. First of all, without COVID, without the pandemic, we would not have this close connection that we now have with BEA. And I hope that they are going to continue the remote meetings, or at least remote option for their meetings, because they used to have these weekly meetings and you had to go to Concord.
Right.
And we could never be involved because we can't go to Concord once a week. So I wanted to point out that one great advantage that's let us shine at the state level. They're finally learning all the terrific things that are going on in Peterborough. Secondly, I want to point out that this coalition of restaurants, this coming together of the restaurant network, is something that Sean and I were hoping would happen when we first started talking about hubs. And we wanted to try to get the entertainment and restaurant community to come together and work on cross-marketing opportunities and cross-ordering. For instance, if we could get everyone to have the same kind of wonderful environmentally friendly containers as, say, somebody like Waterhouse or somebody has, and order them in large quantities and get everyone to use them. So that kind of thinking can start to go on as our restaurant community comes together. And I think this is a great first step for that, and I hope that it will continue.
Thanks, Jean. Yeah, I agree. I want to just say to your first point that that yes, Commissioner Caswell is committed to keeping the meetings going online and also using the group. So now what's happening is he's seeing that the people in my position in all around the state are a wealth of resource and information and ideas, and he's wanting to use us to be able to put the plans together for economic revitalization and recovery. So we're going to be involved in all of that. And Peterborough has a seat at that table now in a big way because, I'm not quiet. So.
Yes,
And you got plenty of time, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is my job.
Great job, Karen.
This is
Thank
really
you, Jean. Thank
quite
you.
a breakthrough. It's quite a breakthrough.
Thank you. All right.
But, and Jean, on another topic, thank you for sending the survey out about the hub.
Yes.
Okay.
As you say, it's a different topic.
Okay. So is Laura going to update us on vaccines, James?
Laura,
She apparently has stepped out.
are you here, Laura? Laura, you're muted.
She may have had to step away for a minute. There she is.
There she is.
Hang on.
Your turn on vaccine, Laura.
She's on the call, James. She's on another call. Just wait a minute. She's taking care of some business there. Okay.
Hi, sorry.
Okay. You want to speak about the vaccine?
Yeah, I just wanted to, just to update everybody, because word of mouth is our best communication effort sometimes. Um, As it stands right now, the state is getting about 17,000 doses a week of the vaccine. As you all know, it's been opened up to 1B, so our 65 plus and under 65 medically vulnerable. So the state in its entirety is only getting 17,000 a week. In the Monadnock region, the greater Monadnock Public Health Network is only receiving 940 per week right now. So that's not a lot of vaccine. And so because we have such a limited supply right now, all of the vaccine in the Monadnock region is going to happen at that site in Keene that I'm sure you've all heard about, or that's where you go. So someday maybe we'll be able to have a clinic here at Monadnock as well. But right now, people, we've been getting questions, people saying, well, is Monadnock going to have one? I'll hold out for Monadnock. We don't want people holding out for Monadnock because we might not ever have a clinic. So, I think folks are doing pretty good with it. The website's a little clunky, but I think 211 was working pretty good last week. And I think, I've heard from a lot of people that they've got their appointment and they're happy campers. So I just wanted to get that word out to all of you that if you're hearing people saying, oh, let's wait until we can get it at MCH, that's not how it's working right now in the state. So even doctors' offices are not going to have the vaccine. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you all have any.
Thanks, Laura.
Well, I'm happy that I got signed up to go to Keene. And my children are really encouraging me to do that. Yes.
That's great, James.
I'll also mention that on the call this morning, Commissioner Caswell mentioned that 188,000 people have registered in phase 1B, and they are booked solid through February and half of March.
188?
188,000 registrations in phase 1B.
There's going to be a big line in Keene, huh?
Well, the appointments are booked solid through February and half of March right now.
That is really interesting because if there's only 17,000 coming into the state a week.
Right. That's more than 10 weeks worth. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Maybe they're just assuming more is going to come, which would be nice. And we would hope so. But at this point, we're not making any assumptions.
Well, those are the numbers he gave me this morning. So.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you're right, Karen. I'm sure you're right.
Wow.
It's interesting that they must be booking, assuming we're going to be getting more.
Hope so.
Well, I'm really glad that I could get booked.
Good job, James.
When's your date, James?
Good.
It could also, Laura, be an indicator that people aren't signing. Well, they got 188,000. They're signing up.
That's incredible. I think that's great news.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay. Final item. Laura, would you like to nominate?
Well, I think that, Nick, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm wondering if maybe you should go offline. We'll all say goodbye and we can have a discussion.
Yep.
And then go from there.
I think that makes perfect sense. I appreciate you all for your consideration and allowing me to join in this morning. So
Great.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for being on.
bye-bye.
So
I, for one, think that he'd be a great addition to our team.
I spent several hours with him talking about his new job and his desire, and I agree. I'm totally supportive of him. I think he's really a very engaged guy in our community. Laura.
yeah, I agree. I mean, he reached out to me and said he was interested. Everything I've experienced with him and know about him, I think he's a great team player. He's a great listener. He's smart. He's passionate about helping the community. So he's a young guy with a young family. I think it'd be a nice person in our mix instead of all of us old people.
And I see him two times a month on our town networking Zoom. So he really is engaging in our community.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's snag him before someone else does.
Well, it'd be nice to have a banker on our team as well.
Okay, Laura, do you want to nominate him?
Sure, I nominate Nick Zotto to join the Economic Development Authority.
I second.
You're making a recommendation for his appointment, right?
Yes. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Jerry, I never can hear from you, but
Just-
No. Yeah, James, be sure to let Nick know that after a lengthy conversation.
yeah,
James, can you hear me? It's
I hear
Jerry.
you now, Jerry.
Okay, for some reason this thing keeps muting me again. So I voted aye, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So what to tell him is that you approved him to be recommended to the select board for appointment.
And
Right.
will you put that forward for us, Karen, to the select board?
I need, will someone please send me Nick's contact information?
There's some forms he needs to fill out.
There will be. So I need, Laura, if you could send me his
Sure.
business contact and all of that, that would be great.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. One last item. What is the date of our next Zoom?
The next meeting is scheduled for April. We're now on quarterly, right?
Yes, April.
And it's the 20. 1, 2, 3, it's the 4th. We're doing 4th Monday, right? April 26th.
And the same time.
11 a.m.
Okay,
All right. Great.
everybody.
Send out the notes and link to the video. And
I have one more question.
Gary.
Jerry.
I'm just looking back at your form for the key performance indicators, and on the summary sheet, of course, it's this little box there. Is the expectation that we will write some highlight list or something and then submit that as a document, which would be linked to this? Yes.
You could do that, Jerry. I think, yeah, that would probably be the simplest if you wanted to really elaborate.
Well, you don't need, I'm not even thinking of elaborating. If I talk to 6 major companies in the month and have even one sentence to put in about each, it doesn't fit in the box unless you're willing the boxes to get much larger.
No, I think you're right. If you create a document and just link it,
Okay,
that's perfect.
good.
Okay, so you're going to send out a notice about getting us connected to that
Sure,
document.
I've got it. Okay.
All right. I think that's it. We're 4 minutes early.
Great.
Motion
Yeah,
to,
I'm 3.
someone make a motion to adjourn and we can.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Good meeting, guys. Sorry, I was a little distracted.
I'll second.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
See y'all.
Everyone, thank you.
Okay.
Nighty night. I mean.
No.
Bye.